Welcome back to the F1 Ring. A couple weeks ago, we got rumors of what the news that dropped today, so we felt like we should return to the arena and give you a fight update about the Andretti bid into F1. So it was announced today that the FIA has approved Andretti's bid to be the 11th team in F1. And notably, all the press releases, the notice is like, and Formula One management and the F1 teams haven't agreed to anything to do with media rights or letting them into the Concord Agreement, which is the agreement that all the teams use to decide, how to split up the money. And so essentially, the FIA says you can race, and F1 needs to decide if they're going to get any money for it. And I think my alarm bells started going off in my head because we've talked about this recently on the show. We talk about this outside of the show all the time. That essentially, this to me feels like the FIA needed some public pressure to get F1 and FOM to move it along on this approval process. And because the idea of an 11th team in general, but specifically Andretti joining the grid, has overall been publicly very popular. So, to me, I saw this all, and I went, oh, please put some pressure on F1 to approve this, and that is all I could see through it. What were your thoughts when you saw this news?
Yeah, it definitely, as soon as I saw the announcement, I was like, oh, things are about to get interesting. We're about to get some more sassy statements back and forth. I'm really excited. That's not the word. I'm waiting in anticipation for FOM's response of because they have to come up with something in the interim of how they're really gonna form a response, but I hope it's some kind of sassy okay, FIA, thank you for this and for all these other reasons. I'm curious to see. I mean, they definitely obviously will be brought up this weekend, especially on media day. So once we get more statements from drivers and other, team administration, I think that'll also be really interesting how we'll continue to see if at all, the team's perspective has changed, excluding Alpine. I don't think so, but if for some reason it has, then that would be, maybe there's something that we don't know. I'm anticipating that. Currently, how I still feel, though, is, we're living in the Red Bull dominance. The future of F1 is kind of this is where we are. And I don't know if throwing in Andretti is, necessarily introducing more competition and not just, traffic. So that's how I'm feeling. We'll see where it goes. Where are you at right now with this?
You and I have both been very much on the record that we don't care if an 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th team gets added. And so I agree with everything you said in regards to that. Similarly, though, I think the FIA has decided to use its political capital to strong-arm F1. I think they're in a situation where they're going to have to let Andretti in because the public perception of this is overall positive. I don't feel like you and I are in a vacuum in our, nope, don't really want that, don't need another team, don't really care. But we're definitely in the minorities in feeling that way. I agree, I'm intrigued to see what the teams say and how they politely tell us that the FIA shouldn't have announced this because it wasn't ready to be announced. Which isn't the first time in the last year that the FIA has done that. Just a reminder that the 2023 race calendar was dropped, or the 2024 race calendar was dropped by, next year's race calendar was dropped by the FIA, even though it's an FOM thing that, Formula One is in charge of creating the race calendar, and the FIA, without FOM's knowledge, just went, here everyone goes. So, there's a pattern of them giving information to the public in order to make background political maneuverings. I don't know why that was a mouthful to get out. F1's response that they pushed out through the media today, or when this was announced, is just this. I'll read it to you right now because it made me laugh in how simple and snarky it was. We note the FIA's conclusions in relation to the first and second phases of their process and will now conduct our own assessment of the merits of the remaining application. And that's it. That was it. Yep. They didn't even name Andretti in the statement. They were just like, great, bleep you, go away.
It's exactly what I wanted them to. That is exactly the statement I was hoping for, and like, yeah, well, my anticipation has been met. Oh wow, thank you FOM. Always the best kind of sass. It kind of does feel like the F1 ring statement in like the most
Right.
tamed way.
Yeah. Since we're not going to get into like the nitty gritty details, we will link below a link to episode like 3 weeks ago where we went through the POV of all the parties involved. So, but just crash course, a reminder that the FIA makes more money depending on the number of teams and drivers on the grid because they make a flat fee based on that. And then the F1 and Formula One management and the teams make money based on the quality of the sport on track. And as soon as you understand where the financial incentives are for everyone involved, it becomes very clear why, not only in this case, the decisions are being made the way they're being made, but also if you think about things like stewarding and why the FIA doesn't care to make the product better, it's because there's zero financial incentive for them to do so. And in the world we live in, that's kind of what is the driving force of absolutely everything, is where is the financial incentive? But circling back to something you said earlier about like media day and like press conferences, and this will definitely come up, I just am excited because this is the one topic that Christian Horner and Toto Wolff agree on, and I love when like hell freezes over and they make similar statements about things to the press.
At time of recording, we haven't gotten the lovely graphic of like who's being interviewed with who and what and where, and I'm just really hoping Toto and Christian are together.
Or at least as long as they're like back. Like if I'm pretty sure Toto's back at the circuit this week, they'll both be asked. But yes, if they were both in the team principal press conference this week. Oh, and then stick them next to whoever's the current team principal at Alpine because I can't keep up. And Zach Brown.
Ryan Reynolds in the media day conference and just...
Yeah, because Alpine will supply Andretti with a power unit, so that's why Alpine has the financial incentive to support Andretti. And Zach Brown is buddy-buddy with Andretti, even though he secretly, definitely based on his quotes, doesn't support an 11th F1 team. Because financial incentive, but he is really good friends with the Andrettis, so you know,
Zach Brown is friends with everyone!
I just want everyone with like conflicting points of views to have to sit in one room and answer mediocre questions about this topic. A real life F1 ring!
There you go, real life F1 ring. Hi, video, YouTube, hopefully subscriber. Thank you for... That's chaos. Thank you for listening to this highlight from episode 37 of Gridwalk. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You're so much cooler if you subscribe for a bunch more of F1 videos. And if you watch this whole thing, I promise you the whole episode is very much the same, if not more fun. And you could watch the whole thing right now. You can click right here. Ready? Click, click, click. Oh, it's this way. Click, 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 click. I need to lay down. I've pointed this way for 37 weeks. What? Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.